Welcome to the podcast, Lisa. Meg and I are so thrilled to be able to sit down and connect with you.
Happy to be here with both of you. This is going to be interesting.
It is. We never know what's going to come up, do we?
So, Lisa, let's hear for our beautiful community who you are, what you do, and why you are so passionate about this work.
So, Lisa Blanchet, I am a change coach and also a change management strategist. And for me, at my core, I really am a change coach. I have had the opportunity to spend a few decades in corporate and also had the greatest gift to be able to decide to leave. And when I was in it, I didn't believe I had a choice. I didn't know there were other options. And now that I do, I want every woman to know that she has opportunities. She can rewrite the stories, the beliefs that she either, took on herself or that were, given to her over time. And you get to choose. You get to choose what's next. And that is really what fuels me, that freedom that I found in knowing who I am. Because legitimately, when I was in corporate, I couldn't have told you really what my favorite anything was. I was so busy on autopilot, just doing life, that going with whatever was around me, that I didn't know those things. And so getting to know myself has really created that spark for me as to why I want that in everyone else. And then the change management part of that comes from that is what I did in corporate. And I just love watching teams grow. I love watching teams come together. I love helping them navigate. There's the ooey gooey, messy middle of that. But there's also what comes out on the other side is this clarity and this knowing that they can trust each other, this knowing that we can do that thing that seems so difficult yesterday.
You're so needed, my friend.
And the crazy thing is, I love it. I love this
Yeah.
whole change space, which I get called an odd duck for and other things, and that's okay.
Ooh, odd duck. People think that's an odd duck. I love that.
Love change, yes.
You mentioned something, the turning point, like about being, or no, you didn't mention. I want to ask a question about autopilot, of being stuck on autopilot for so long. What was that like? And when did that turning point moment happen for you to create a change from that?
So that's, I would say I was on autopilot for my entire life up until 2015.
Wow.
From, just the childhood needing to be the responsible one. My mom was sick. I was the oldest and just and I got told every week I was also the responsible one and the good head on my shoulders. And so that just turned into what needed to be done, got done.
Yeah.
I did not, I wasn't the girl that had, dreams of getting married in a white dress. I didn't think about the future very much. I just thought about today. What do we need to get done today? And as that evolved into my career, that evolved into, what I had to look at was my dad who worked for the same company his whole life. And also that was that generation. So when I stepped into kind of that first big corporate role, it was, you're just going to keep advancing. This is where you're going to retire from. This is a thing you're going to keep doing. And, it was reinforced because I was very successful. I continued to climb the ladder. I did all the things. And early in 2015, and I mean, even the year before that, I didn't use the word burnout because I didn't know it in 2015. It's not, but what it was I was beyond exhausted. I, my doctor really wanted me to take time off work. I was too stubborn because that's another trait that I've had to focus on, this stubbornness. Because not only did she want me to take time off for my mental and my physical health because there were some real concerns, but my marriage was on the rocks. I rarely, had quality time with my son. I was commuting downtown every day.
Mhm.
So I was up before he was gone and many days home after he was in bed. And friends, no time for those. So that connection was also something was very much missing in my life. And in that last year with that organization, um, I got put into a role that just didn't match me in any way, shape, or form. And it was this shock of like this, it was a shock, but it was a moment of this cannot be it. This cannot be what I'm meant to do. I cannot live like this. I felt so disconnected from everything. And it didn't feel okay anymore because I had had that feeling before of disconnection, but it just wasn't okay anymore. And it was that then making a choice. It was making the choice that this was not going to be the life for me anymore. Um, and eventually being blessed with the opportunity to leave that organization. And I took off 8, 9 months and I got to know who Lisa is. And I went away for a couple of days for the first time by myself ever. I sat in my own silence. There was the Wi-Fi was not working. There was a giant snowstorm, all the things the universe wanted to make sure that I wasn't getting distracted by things. And over that course of time, I got to start to know who I am. And that reinforced that there is something very much more here. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely know that I'm going to find out what it is and find that glimmer of possibility and choice.
Mhm.
Mm.
So much power in taking the pause, isn't there?
Very much so. It is something I talk with my clients about a lot.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in the do, but
Yeah.
we're human beings, not human doings.
Mhm.
So it is so much a part of how we need to show up every day is in that pause.
Yeah.
And when you take an even longer pause, all the better.
Yeah. I
I think
swear the power pauses are the catalyst for you to take those power moves. And I commend you, especially being in corporate, for taking that time away to refill your tank because that's not something that is easy to do, is it?
Not at all. And not something that anyone else understands.
Hmm.
Right. There was a lot of shame and judgment as to why I wasn't jumping back into that next thing, going to work for the competitor, etc.
Yeah.
Like, no, no, no.
Hmm.
Because of course, being the responsible one, I hadn't really let anybody in on how bad things were in my life. I hadn't talked about any of those things with anybody that was around me. So why wouldn't I just jump into that next thing?
Yeah, truly. So, how does one, because this is such a potent conversation, specifically for those that are on autopilot, and you being the change catalyst that you are, is it easy for individuals who are on that autopilot to implement change that can really, take them in a direction that's completely different from the way they're living today?
Easy? No. We want it to be easy, but it's not easy because the things, even though I was on autopilot and anyone else that is, you are still making choices. You're making choices to be on autopilot. You're making choices to not make other choices.
Hmm.
And all the behaviors and the habits that come with that, for me at that time was 42, 41 years. I've been doing things. I've been living life that way. Been doing all those things. And so to then figure out, well, oh, wait a minute, but if I turn that switch off, bit by bit, every little aspect and big aspect of my life, I now need to make decisions. I now need to do something different. I need to show up and have just even the simple thing as a new habit, which is habit. I'm not trying to simplify habits, but it is just that you can create one new habit, but it is just a small piece of that. So it is not easy. No, it is something that you do because it's that sense of urgency or that sense of like where I am now. Not anymore. I'm done. And knowing that it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And it's going to be, oh, so much better than where my life was before.
I know people feel autopilot, like stuck in burnout. And how can you, like, now that you've been on this journey yourself, what are some of the cues that you catch yourself where it's like, oh, I think I'm going in not the direction that I should be? Like, how do you catch yourself when it's like this? Maybe I'm not going back to where I was, but I know that this is not the direction for me.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that is more tactical is your calendar. So, some of the habits that I worked on for kind of the first 5 years after leaving corporate was to create space for myself. So the pause, but I talked, for myself to create space for myself. And that means a lot of things to me, but where one of the ways it shows up is in my calendar. The tangible, tactical way that shows up is in my calendar. And it's blocking time aside, whether that's my morning routine or it's some specific park that I go to 2 or 3 days a week. It's that time and it's noticing that, I haven't been doing whatever that thing is for you. So, for me, I haven't been going to Lowville or I haven't been spending that 5 or 10 minutes stretching and doing my journaling in the morning.
Hmm.
So It's the awareness and the noticing of that. But I say the calendar because it's looking at your calendar and going, okay, it's Friday. You look back and you think, huh, I feel fill in the blank, whatever that is for you. I feel exhausted. I feel over, whatever. And you look at the calendar and you go, huh, that time that was supposed to be mine, I was doing something else. And maybe I wasn't always doing something else, but I was focused or worried or doing some other things that didn't allow me to that space that I know for me is so important.
We spoke about this at the live event, but it's like taking that oxygen mask first for yourself, right? Before anybody else. Doesn't matter how much you love the other person. We're no good to the other people if we aren't taking that mask first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do think, Meg, that comes across very cliche, especially for women.
Mm-hmm.
And that as women, we don't really know how to be selfish and put that oxygen mask on ourselves. It just, what do you mean I'm not going to put it on my child first? What do you mean I'm not going, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You have to put it on yourself. And I think, I know that's been one of many threads through this journey for me is making that choice.
Mm-hmm.
And this word selfish isn't even a word that I think about in that space. It's a choice. The choice is I'm putting myself first today.
Yeah.
And that it's that simple. And it's because I need to put myself first, not just in the oxygen analogy to be able to help others, but I also need to put myself first because I can't go and live my big ass dreams if I'm not doing that, right? So and ultimately those dreams are going to help even more people. So it is in the big picture similar, but very important for me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say louder and louder and louder, just exactly what you're saying, because it's so, like, so many people need to hear that message. And I'm so curious because you are so convicted in this message and the way that you share it, which I love. If people are almost curious and they're looking, going, okay, I know I'm in an autopilot. I know I'm feeling burnt out, but I listen to how Lisa's saying, like, put myself first. And I'm like, I don't have a clue how to even do this. I mean, we also know even just not asking for help or putting yourself in a position to receive help, like it's the whole armor of I'm going to do it myself. So if they're looking at it, like what are some of the things? I know you said calendar. Is there anything else where people can get started to recognize, like, where are they not prioritizing themselves?
Well, I think so, not prioritizing self, but to prioritize by doing something small. So I mean, so you make one different decision today.
Mhm,
You don't have to try to tackle all of these things or say that every time someone asks me if I want to go out, I'm going to say no because I need to stay home and do my own thing.
mhm,
No, because that's not necessarily true for you. But the next time that somebody says, hey, can you do this for me? Or hey, do you want to go here? Before you automatically say yes, even if inside you're resenting that and not wanting to, but before you say yes, you pause. And the pause might even be another couple seconds. And what you may, practice say, let me get back to you or no. And I know for a lot of women, going right to no is difficult, which is why I'll work with my clients, say, let me get back to you,
mhm.
or I'll let you know tomorrow. Because the no seems, oh, I can't say no. But yes, you can. And you just have to do it just once today, just once. And then do it once tomorrow, could be on completely different things. But because when you say no to whatever that ask is, you are actually prioritizing yourself. You're saying yes to yourself.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I'm curious, how much has your own quality of life changed over the last 10 years while you're doing this work and as well as pouring into clients, doing the work that you love doing?
Night and day doesn't, I just got chills when you asked me that because I haven't yet really kind of found the words to describe that transformation for me. I mean, there are the people like, of course, like my husband that have been in my life throughout this journey. Still, 10 years later, like, he'll be surprised by something that I say that I either want to do or like something we should go and, look at or whatever it might be. Because before the life was, I just worked all the frickin' time.
Mhm.
So when it even came to the weekend and there were plans with the grandparent, he took my son and they went because I was still working on the weekend. And it happens less often now, but it still happens where it's like, oh, wait, you want to come? But in the beginning, like, I'm like, I would get pissed off. Like, you're not asking me if I can come with you or I want to come with you. And he's like, well, no, because like the last 20 years you haven't. So I don't, and I also have so many new people in my life now that were not part of my life 10 years ago. A lot of people aren't here anymore in my life, in my space. And so it's been a difficult journey to kind of, or difficult, to bring to words for me, but night and day, I am just in every facet. I am not the person I was in 2015, every way. That
Mhm.
I prioritize my health. I prioritize taking space, but it's me doing it, but it's also me then in every second, in every conversation, I'm doing that for others. It's constantly reminding. It's like a little mini, like the coach in me. It's who I am. It doesn't go away. It's not something I just do with my clients. It's who I am because I know what's possible when you choose to change your life.
And thank goodness you had the courage to take the pause. Hey?
Hell yes.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling. Would you agree? How many people are running? Like, whenever I meet with my clients, I'm like, okay, where are you at? 0 to 10, stress level. I'm 7 or 8 out of 10. And it's normal, especially in corporate. I'm like, far out, you
And it's
know?
only getting worse.
Yeah.
And the rapid speed and pace of change now, it's only
Yeah.
getting worse.
Yeah. Truly. Yeah. So, how does one experience your work? How do they learn more about you? Tell us all the things.
All the things. Well, so they can experience my work, from just from a social media perspective, from following me to just kind of see the things that I'm sharing, the things that I'm talking about. But really, there's two kind of core areas for me. One of them is leaders as well as women in midlife and working with them from a coaching partnership perspective. And for me, partnership is the key aspect there. So especially if we think about in midlife, there is so much going on in our own lives, right? We are depending on, if we're moms, we are probably, moving into that empty nest. We've also got parents that we're not taking care of potentially. We're deciding that enough is enough. There are career changes. There are changes based on, relationships and health things going on. And nobody taught us how to manage all of this change. It's not something we went to school with. It's not a life skill that anybody realized that we should all have. And so for me, it really is a gift and it's an honor to be a part of someone's journey to help them through that. And it's a similar journey in the corporate space and with teams, because, when you take a team, think of restructuring, and even if you only change one person on that team, which it's often more than that, you've changed the complete dynamics of that team. But you also, in a restructuring, you change people's roles and responsibilities. So now the organization changed things for those humans. Those humans didn't put up their hands and say, I want a new job. And, as an organization, you have a responsibility when you change the rules to support your teams through that. And that's really is up as my other, gift for me is helping those teams get clarity. Because at the end of the day, we show up to work and we all spend a lot of time at work. And we don't show up there to fail. But what we're really seeking is clarity. What is my job? How do I do it well? How are you going to define me doing it well? And so those are kind of the two really empowering spaces for me that I'm magic.
You certainly are.
I love that you own that. I love that you own that.
It's
Flex your
taken a
chest.
while, but I own it.
I love it. I love it. Well, Lisa, we've had the honor, the absolute honor of working with you over the last, as we record this, 11 months inside our Heartwired CEO Mastermind. Hard to believe we've been together this long because it just feels like yesterday. And yet it seems like, just to witness your growth and evolution over this last under a year has been profound. Can you share a little bit about how this experience has been for you?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, I would go back almost a year ago now, exactly. Um, I didn't know either of you. And not that I didn't just not know you, I hadn't even heard of you. It's not like I was following you on social. Who are these incredible women? I don't know. And I still don't know, like, there isn't something that pushed me, that is tangible for me to say, this is why I'm going to jump in and be a part of this program. I truly believe, like a lot of things in my life, it was the universe, it was the nudge that I came across Marsha's profile. I saw a couple things and thought, oh, there's something very familiar about her. But I've never met her. I don't know who she is. And then, oh, look, there's this heartwired. See, oh, heartwired. That's how I live my life. I talk about heart-centered change. It's how I invite leaders and organizations to lead change. I'm like, I'm intrigued. Little did I know what I was stepping into, though, because the way that, we got you guys shared in terms of it's the blend of masculine and feminine energy, it's the strategy as well as the body. Yeah. So the first couple of times that Meg introduced her magical work, the first time in particular, what the heck is this? What is she trying to get me to do? And okay, I'm going to roll with it because that's what choice I've been made for this year. I'm going to roll with it, but I don't know what this is and I don't know why I'm doing this. That feeling was only slightly less there the second time that you had us doing whatever that was. Probably saw not that one, I'm guessing, but I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I have worked really hard to choose curiosity over judgment. So that's exactly what took over for me in those instances. I didn't understand it. I still don't. I appreciate it, but I still don't. I wouldn't put myself in the understanding bucket of a lot of your work, Meg. But I feel it. I know that things have changed. Um, and then the combination of the two, the balance that you two, the integration, the balance that you two bring, it makes that support feel like it's well-rounded. And it's, if one of you is sharing something and then the other one, and maybe like we're looking at you like, huh? And then the other one will then say something that connects the dots for us, right? And you just play off of each other so very well that way. And I can't believe the year is almost up, but it's been an incredible experience.
We
I
can't believe it either.
I can't either. Thank you for sharing what you just did. And I mean, I think it's such a beautiful thing because we've just really loved being in this space and supporting and seeing each of you grow in so many incredible ways. And I love how you said curiosity over judgment. It's like just curious that this was, we were laughing about this earlier. This was me probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, just curious as to what this is because I didn't even really understand it, to be honest.
Yep.
And I know it's changed me in so many ways. And I'm so grateful to be able to do this work, even if I still don't always understand it. It's okay, Lisa.
That's
I know how I feel.
Right, exactly. That's the beauty of the choice that I don't have to understand it. And that would be like another one of those huge differences over 10 years. 10 years ago, everything was planned out. I had to know every next step that was happening, whether it was
Same.
personal. And now,
Yeah.
no,
Well, that's the power of this work that's intangible, right? Like I shared this before, but within my own masterminds that I led, I always said there's going to be a part of this experience that doesn't make sense. And you're going to be questioning, why are we doing this? Why did I invest this money into receiving this? And it's the intangible work that allows you to create tangible action. Would you agree?
absolutely. And I think the rational part of me goes back to a saying that I use, which is that we're human beings, not human doings. And to me, that is very much what I have felt is that more of that. I can't describe it exactly, but this is different in here.
Mhm.
And the capacity that I have to then manage and do all the wonderful things I want to do on a day or a week or whatever is much greater because there's a better foundation. It's clearer and it has increased my capacity.
Yeah.
And it has reduced so many of those, like you said, there's so many people that just work on a 7, 8 level of stress. Mm. No, because it's in here, which is what I mean, Marsha, you probably would agree. That's what makes it harder to explain. Because
It is. And I think that most people though, I mean, whether they're entrepreneurs, they're in corporate, they're in business, like if you ask them if they want to learn if they are like wanting to learn how to grow their capacity, the answer is yes. Like, yes, I want to know. And I do believe there is a thought that I have to do more. That was always my belief. It really was,
Yeah.
right?
No.
because that's, we get, measured on the things that we do and the titles that we have.
Mhm.
Even ourselves, we get measured on our checklist and to-do list and we check all those items off. Right? Like how many women and I mean, it's men and women, I'm sure, will add things to the to-do list,
Oh, yeah.
check them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's the doing.
Yeah.
We have been brought up in a world of doing.
100%. And we all want this capacity piece, but it's not like our nervous system is this balloon that just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. It's we have this nervous system that's cluttered, filled with past memories, events, experiences that our body's been holding on to. And this is the intangible work where we get to clear away that clutter, that excess debris. So we create more spacious, more breathing room. So yes, we're increasing our capacity. Our nervous system isn't changing shape or form. It's just clearing what no longer serves. So that's the intangible piece that is like, oh, I have so much more capacity to continue to grow and scale and expand to that next level without having to do said 10 steps that are totally against my body's blueprint.
Very well said. Exactly.
Okay, I'll leave that over there. It's incredibly well said.
Yeah.
What she said.
Whatever she said. It's so interesting though, because, I think with capacity, while doing this work, you can start to look back and say, wow, like how I'm handling this today is different than a year ago. How many different opportunities I'm holding now is different than a year ago. And, something, the shoe drops over here and my reaction's different. Like you start to notice those things and it's like, oh, capacity. Like you get to hold more. I often laugh when people say, the start of the new year and my goal is expansion. I'm like, well, get ready because you've got to learn how to hold the opposite first. And that's where it can be such a challenge. So I think that, I applaud you for you're still one of my favorite stories of somebody who just found us and really jumped in. And I think that this is such a message because yes, you do, for the most part, people have to get to know you and build that trust, etc. And we were doing a lot of that and showing up and sharing. But when you let people see who you are and you're authentic with that, like that's, I'm going to tee you up for a second, but also see that we are who we say we are. Like, I think that that's an important piece. And you've also were able to make that decision. So it's just such a great story because you literally connected just from Instagram profile, a live, and then we started to have a conversation. And I love that.
Yeah. And a younger version of myself would think that's absolutely nuts.
Right.
Right. But this version of me is right. Okay. But there's a reason why there's a reason why I saw that. I don't need to know what it is, but I just need to, I trust.
Trust.
I trust in myself. I trust in the universe. And I trust that this is showing up for a reason. So then curiosity kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think, it's curiosity kicks in and it's also going back to where we kind of started, that creating space.
Mm-hmm.
So I have space intentionally in my life to explore that curiosity.
Yeah.
It's not just another thing that I got to go back and look at maybe, but no, I have space to explore what that looks like and what it also feels like. And I think I know part of that was that just showing up the way that I saw you guys showing up was a piece of that. I didn't know that back then, but I do know that over the last few months, right? That is because one of my top values is authenticity.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, look, that's what that looks like. This doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel forced. It just is. And that is the thing that I am focused on.
And it just continues to get permission, doesn't it? It's permission that you get to share who you are because then your clients will find you, people will find you. Those connections are made when people get to see who you are at the core.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we all, as women, need to give ourselves multiple permission slips to do all the things and to be all the things.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth?
Mic drop right there, my friend. Well, it has been such an honor, Lisa, to walk alongside you over these past 11 months. So excited to see where this next year takes you and beyond. And yeah, you're just getting started.
I am just getting started. And I love that you have both been a part of this journey.
We're so grateful. We're so grateful. And the tools and skills and everything that you get to help people with will help so many people because
Yeah.
this is something that is only continuing to be an issue for people. So I'm so grateful that you're doing this work.
The world needs your light now more than ever.